You probably heard the news that democracy is under threat.
Say hello to democracy!
And the Helldivers are the only hope to restore it. I mean, you can't escape it, it's literally everywhere, and it's well deserved. And this is not some kind of multi-million-dollar marketing strategy or some invasive ads scattered all over the place. No, this is propaganda, literally propaganda, created initially as a few trailers for the game and then spread around by their passionate player base. Because you know, you don't just hop on and play this game. No, you enlist to become a legend. Well, at least that's what the trailer said.
Become a hero. Become a legend.
But we need to take a step back because before all of this, there was
danger, darkness, and dwarfs.
And maybe danger is a bit misleading in this context because
I am the danger.
a game that you already know by now, either by playing it yourself or by seeing these guys pretty much everywhere, recommending it and praising it. You can't really blame them. Deep Rock Galactic, it's a classic by now and it will remain an example of how to develop and maintain games for a long time. But why are these games so popular and why are they gathering these loyal player bases that are so passionate and dedicated? There is no straight answer since the list of things they do right is quite long and these games are literally diamonds in this cesspool of mediocrity, microtransactions and greed that we nowadays call gaming industry. It's quite surprising how these PvE live service games are managing to keep players engaged and always returning for more, when the expectations for these kind of games are pretty low after the initial wave. The thing is that these are not just co-op games in which you hop on with your friends to share a mission, while cooperation is kind of optional. Like, it might be easier if you are all fighting the same thing at once, but it's not going to be that punishable if your loot gremlin friend is hoarding everything in the background. With Deep Rock Galactic and Helldivers 2, it's a whole different story, because these games are hard and you will be punished for each mistake once you bump up the mission difficulty. Being a strong unit is the only hope you have when it comes to higher level missions.
We're supposed to be a unit! Sigma unit.
Seriously, you will get your ass kicked the moment you take a wrong step. Effective cooperation is your only chance of success. The feeling of accomplishment after completing a tough mission with your squad, despite having used up all your ammo and barely surviving the relentless waves of enemy attacks, it's what makes you want to come back for more. It's incredibly satisfying to emerge victorious from such challenges. In Deep Rock Galactic, you have different classes that complement each other. And in Helldivers, while you don't have set classes from which you can choose, you can adapt your weapons, gear and stratagems to make your playstyle highly customizable in order to fit different roles. This encourages players to pick different classes and builds because they synergize so well with one another, and it's so satisfying when everyone brings something different to the table and everything just clicks into place. You might want to provide utility for your team and secure the perimeter, or you might just want to mow down through hordes of enemies. These games got you covered and it's just scratching the surface because everything is so diverse and it never gets old to try out different builds and playstyles. And on top of that, the gunplay is so polished and satisfying. Guns are well thought out and serve different purposes, but the feedback from shooting a particular weapon is what stands out. From the sound to the impact it has on enemy mobs to your character. You can see that the devs paid attention to every detail when they designed this. You see bug legs flying all over the place. If you land a headshot, they will randomly run around for a few moments until they finally die. This feels impactful because each shot you land has a different effect on target depending on where it landed. Blowing up swarms of cave spiders and seeing the impact of the explosion on their ragdolls never gets old. Pieces of bug armor flying around and green bug goo splatter all over the place. It's just perfect. You are not just seeing some damage numbers going up and some health bars going down. And on top of all this, all the action happens in these procedurally generated environments, which are just stunning. These environments not only add replay value by being unique each time players step into a mission, but in both cases, these are so well made that they seem handcrafted. You can tell how much thought was put into generating the different biomes because they are not just for show. Each environment has different hazards, weather conditions and sometimes enemies, which will heavily influence your gameplay. From exploding plants to extreme weather conditions, from claustrophobic caves to huge open spaces, all these features immerse players into the game's fantasy and atmosphere. And don't get me started about the music, which perfectly complements the gameplay for both games. I will sound like a broken record, but the amount of detail that was put into these games is something else. But Ghost Ship and Arrowhead, the studios behind these games, didn't stop at just making engaging gameplay loops and crafting these beautiful worlds. This is where they took everything a step further. There are plenty of good games out there, but the player bases are nowhere near as passionate as they are for these games. Instead of heavily investing in marketing, they invested in polishing the games even more and offering them a lot of character through things that are usually neglected by other developers. First off, after finishing your tutorial and introductory missions, the menus for Deep Rock Galactic and Helldivers are minimal. You have one screen before entering your ship, and from there, in both games, you can take care of all the aspects that you would otherwise do in a standard menu. In Deep Rock Galactic, the spaceship is like a huge arcade with all these stations that serve the purpose of a regular menu. But on top of this, you have a lot of interactive things that really bring the place to life. You can just get lost exploring all these obscure areas and messing around with the various minigames that are available. You even have a football minigame tucked away in a corner that you can take out and set up anywhere. All this while management is constantly pestering you to get back to work and stop fooling around with company equipment.
You are aware that you're here to work, yes? Not to play video games.
In Helldivers 2 you have these propaganda advertisement broadcasts that are hilarious and immerse you even more into the whole idea of patriotism and sacrifice for the greater good.
Skepticism is treason. Treason is bad.
There is also this arcade game here that is not working yet. I assume that the invasion caught us by surprise and we didn't have time to set everything up. When you walk to the mission map, in both games you have a choice between these different types of missions that are also constantly changing because they have different modifiers and take place in different areas. In games like Deep Rock Galactic and Helldivers 2, it's very important to have a lot of variety and choice, as it can get boring really fast otherwise. And both games excel at offering an evergreen experience each time you jump into a mission. You have loads of mission types, secondary objectives, a large variety of enemies, and ever-changing environmental conditions that will always add a different spin to your playthrough. These games don't hold your hand and show you the way to carefully guide you to the path that was laid out. No, you choose what mission and when to do it, and that's quite impressive since many other games fail to keep players returning and building strong communities. Speaking of building a community, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. In Deep Rock, available missions and areas change once every 30 minutes, and this keeps the mission selection fresh while also giving the impression that the world is constantly changing around you. Helldivers 2 took this concept of making you feel like you are part of this war effort with thousands of other players by showing all these different spaceships whenever you travel to a new planet, and you can also see other Helldivers launching down and calling in stratagems. You get to see the status of liberation on each planet. Areas are constantly changing, becoming available or unavailable depending on our efforts. Arrowhead created this setting in which they play as the game master and are constantly challenging and rallying up their community to liberate different planets. But it seems like they have been serving them too much fanatical patriotism, as their solidarity and determination make them clear planets faster than expected. The sense of immersion that is created through these little details is unmatched. All these elements come together to form a vital aspect that defines the essence of these games. Character. It's character that sets them apart, that breathes life into the worlds they inhabit and the missions they undertake. Take Helldivers 2 for instance. It's not just a game, it's becoming a cultural phenomenon. The passionate discussions, the spread of memes, and the genius ship name selector all contribute to an image of fanatical patriotism towards Super Earth. Even the 1-star review under investigation for treason adds up to the appeal of the game. Helldivers 2 immerses you into its universe so thoroughly that you can't help but embrace its ideals and values. And then there's Deep Rock Galactic, where the rallying cry of rock and stone echoes through every discussion. It's not just a catchphrase, it's a testament to the meticulously crafted fantasy of space dwarves braving into the harshest environments in the universe, all for the profit-hungry schemes of a corporate entity. Yet, in all the chaos, there's a sense of greatness and camaraderie that spreads through every aspect of the game, from the inspiring posters to the memorable voice lines. Deep Rock Galactic waves a narrative of adventure and solidarity. But perhaps the pinnacle of this world building lies in the Memorial Hall. It's more than just a location on the spaceship. It's a monument to the courage and valor of those who dared to venture into the depths of unknown. The music changes, the statues stand tall, and the posters evoke a sense of wonder and reverence. It's a testament to the power of storytelling, where every detail contributes to the immersive experience. It's the character of these games that draws us in. It's the sense of belonging, the thrill of adventure, and the camaraderie of fellow players that keep us coming back for more. Deep Rock Galactic and Helldivers 2 aren't just games, they're journeys into fantastical realms where heroism knows no bounds, and that's why they continue to capture the hearts and minds of players everywhere. The spirit of camaraderie is so strong within these communities that there is an unwritten rule to leave no dwarf or man behind. I mean, sure, you get a small bonus if everyone extracts successfully, but you are thrown out into the most hostile environments, and in both games, you are just some disposable pawns. I haven't seen this amount of dedication to save everyone in any other games. Like, obviously, Deep Rock Galactic has been out for a while and it had way more time to build its community and unwritten rules, but it seems like Helldivers 2 is following the same footsteps. I randomly join games using the current quick play functionality, and most of the time I get matched with higher level players when I select the higher difficulty missions, and as you'd expect, I died quite a lot, but no one said anything and they just keep reviving me over and over again. This is so similar to the Deep Rock Galactic experience because you can just die over and over again and they will keep coming back for you. Most of the times nobody talks and just communicates with pings, which is great if you ask me. I haven't met any toxic players yet, which is obviously just my experience. I am sure they exist, but probably in lower percentages in these games. If you had any negative experiences, please share them below, it will be interesting to hear about them. If we fail a mission, the party just gets disbanded or we go again. It's just that simple. What makes players more chill when it comes to these games is probably the fact that there is no PvP and they seem to be less sweaty. Moving on to monetization, a pretty controversial topic in the gaming industry nowadays, to say the least. But not for these games, as the devs have adopted a pro-consumer attitude in both cases. No scammy microtransactions or pay-to-win mechanics. They respect you as a customer, you know exactly what you are buying, and it's reasonable and honest. Like in Deep Rock, you don't even have a premium currency. The battle pass is free and you can only unlock it if you play the game. They release DLCs from time to time which are cosmetic only, and it's not a big deal since you can unlock 99% of all cosmetics by playing the game, and they have released a huge amounts of content since launch. I can't stress enough how much value you are getting for $30, not to mention that it often goes on sale for half the price. While Helldivers 2 has a premium currency, it's not anything too crazy. They don't pull any tricks on you in terms of bundling it up in a way to make you spend more money. The premium battle pass, it's 1,000 super credits that cost $10 in the store, and that's it. The game costs half the price of a AAA and offers countless hours of fun through its insane replay value. The skins cost a few dollars each, and the premium battle pass stuff is not even better than the items you get from the free one. Also, you can't buy battle pass progression, which is quite a blessing in today's world. You actually need to play the game in order to progress. The fact that people are rallying behind games just because they respect your time and money, it's a huge indicator of the state of the industry today. This should actually be the norm, not the exception. Deep Rock Galactic and Helldivers 2 are here to stay and will not die down anytime soon as people have been speculating initially. They are already becoming a point of reference for co-op live service games, and I hope that other studios take inspiration from their development and community oriented approach. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.